Wonder Man has been spotted inside of the Datamine file, so is this character coming to Marvel Strike Force as a playable character? You know, we gotta speculate. We gotta dig a little bit deep into Marvel Comics to see who this character could bring along with him if in fact he does become a playable character in Marvel Strike Force. We got a couple comic books over here that we want to look at that correlate to some characters we already have in the game, things we could think about as far as reworks and new characters. Let's take a look to see if we get some inspiration to see how it goes. Hey, I do have a nightmare scenario for you as well, something I think will be really cool. It might apply. It might be how things work out. Let's go ahead and take a look. The theme that most people are following seems to be the West Coast Avengers, and if indeed Wonder Man is coming to the game as a member of the West Coast Avengers, what other characters do we have in the game already that could be reworks that would fit that option? Hawkeye is the individual that comes to the top of the list. Hawkeye is always the person that they use to set up the leadership for a new Avenger style team. Sure, you got Captain America, he's a great leader. You got Iron Man from time to time. You kind of got to be careful if he's being the leader because he's a little bit cocky. So the person who actually is the mentor, the heart and soul of these teams, generally speaking, is Hawkeye, and he's done it more than once when it came to a West Coast Avenger team. Our second choice is Tigra. Again, she was a member of the West Coast Avengers. She's somebody who we haven't really used in quite some time. So similar to Hawkeye, there would be benefit in that. People don't really have her built. There's people that probably don't even have her, period, because she was on the original New Avengers team. Great Alliance War team from back in the day. So she has a great kit, right? This would be a supreme pick. Her abilities in this game are really, really good. They would make for an excellent team. She'd be a premier pick. I hope if they're doing a West Coast Avengers team that this is one of the selections that is used. Pick number 3 is Spider-Woman. Many people don't realize that Spider-Woman was indeed a member of the West Coast Avengers. She was there the same time as Tigra for the most part. She's made it back on that roster multiple times. So Spider-Woman, once again, would be a good individual character to use. Again, she has a great kit. She has great abilities. She was made for Alliance War as well. So she has some excellent moves for control and things like that in this game. She'd be good. She's a blaster. She does good damage as well. Right. You give her those new 3.0 stats, she'd fit in on this team nicely. A sleeper pick for this team would be the US Agent. Once again, he is a character that has been on multiple West Coast Avenger rosters, and he's somebody we're not really using, right? His abilities didn't really come across super good on the Rebirth team. He was somebody that kind of had to be there, right? The way his abilities work, you kind of just have to have him, but the impact that he had on the team really wasn't that great. So it would be great if he could be revamped, right? Be a resurgence. He's not on the Thunderbolts, right? He wasn't selected for the Thunderbolt team, so maybe he could be part of the West Coast Avengers team as well, since again, multiple times he's been involved with that roster. We have some concept art here for what the Wonder Man character might look like if he does indeed make it into Marvel Strike Force. We're going with the actor, the Abdul Mateen version, obviously, since he's going to be the character that's going to be used in the MCU version of Wonder Man, right? What could this character do? Would he be a tank? Would he be a protector? Would he indeed be a brawler, right? Handing out damage, receiving damage. He could probably do both. He'd really be a great cornerstone for the team. The other theory is that he is a standalone character. The second member we could have, if we're going to be going with that West Coast Avengers theme, is the Living Lightning. Once again, this is a character that has been on multiple West Coast Avenger rosters. He's not yet in the game, so he would be a great addition to Marvel Strike Force. And the third new character I'd like to see on the West Coast Avengers team is Goliath. Once again, this is a different version of Mr. Pym, right? He's always messed with those Pym particles changing his size. Goliath would be good. So once again, we could probably go ahead and say in that case, he would be the tank. We would make Wonder Man a brawler. And yeah, man, I think this team would be legit. And now for that nightmarish twist. What some of us may not realize is that Wonder Man has indeed been a villain inside of Marvel Comics. So is it possible that they could flip the script and bring a villainous version of Wonder Man into the game? That actually would be pretty cool. See, he kind of lost control in he became this ionic, this purple form of the character, kind of went a little bit crazy. That's how it goes sometimes. So could this character perhaps come to Marvel Strike Force in some form or fashion? It really would set up a very interesting storyline that they could lean into. They could call this team the Lethal Legion. Now, you might not know, comic book wise, that Wonder Man's brainwaves were used to reset Vision. Okay, so you kind of need that human template. We got the white Vision in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the way that they chose to kind of stabilize that character, right, give him a new identity since his, he got destroyed, was to use Wonder Man's brainwaves to, again, give Vision that human touch. So Vision will be a great pick for this team, right? He's pretty, right, he got a rework relatively recently. He's on the Mighty Avengers, so I don't really see that part happening. Instead, maybe they could just use the US agent if we want to kind of keep a more villainous team active. But again, that's how it happened. They could lean into that storyline. Another piece of that puzzle, though, is obviously where did Vision come from in the first place? And is true in the MCU just as is in the comics, Ultron is the one who created the Vision. So we could go ahead and lean into that. Ultron would be an excellent character for a rework. He used to be a fearsome character in this game, and as a Dark Dimension character, right, early though, he's a early Dark Dimension character. He's old, so he could benefit from a nice tune-up, a nice touch-up. It did indeed happen in the past when they put him on the Masters of Evil team. It could happen again. They could put him on this Lethal Legion team, really into the storyline of kind of the Wonder Man lineage. I think it would be a great idea. Since they just redid Omega Red and gave them 3.0 stats, they could do it for Ultron. He would be amazing. Leaning into the storyline though, do you know where Ultron got the parts? How did he get the concept to build a Vision in the first place? He used the body of the original Human Torch, Jim Hammond. Now, the original Human Torch, we're not talking about Johnny Storm here, the original Human Torch, who served alongside Captain America in Namor early, right? They were the first superheroes in Marvel comic. Jim Hammond is a synthetic android, right? He's a synthoid just like Vision. He has cybernetic organs or synthetic organs, things of that nature. He is a machine. He is an android, but he's made to imitate and be a human, a living thing, just like the Vision. Okay, so he got destroyed, and Ultron used his parts to kind of make the Vision. Since that time, he's been brought back in Marvel Comics. So, I mean, he's a great character, a great pick that makes him the Vision and Wonder Man in some ways like brothers. It was a great storyline. It's something we could really lean into. And there's one more character that could bring this team together. And that would be the actual brother of Wonder Man, the Grim Reaper. So he would be the last character to round out that Lethal Legion team. It all ties together. There's a storyline behind it. They could make a nice little showcase, some special events. I think that would be a really, really cool idea. Now, I want to know what you think. Do you think that it's all just rumors? Is Wonder Man actually coming to the game at all? Will he be a standalone character, right? If you're a spender, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, right? We just had the Blue Marvel, and most of the spender community has them. Is it too soon for another special standalone chase character, or do you need more of that? Do you want more of that as a spender in Marvel Strike Force? That's something I'm very curious about. I want to know what you think. What other characters could be on this team to accompany Wonder Man if he indeed is coming out as the Avengers West Coast, or if they leaned into some other team with Wonder Man on it? What characters would you like to see reworked, and what characters would you like to see come into the game as brand new? If you haven't seen this video right here, though, please check it out. It's legit.